bold people make history. So if you want to be the lead actor of your movie, which is your life, you've got to take choices that might be contrary to what you've heard. And that empowerment may or may not come from your parents, may or may not come from your family or boyfriend or whoever you're around. It comes from you. And that no one can do. 2020, I got my first leading role. How long did it take me? 10 years. So people don't think about how much hard work, how much consistent knocking on doors, how much humility it takes to go to another country and start from scratch. I had built an incredible career here, amazing credibility here. You have to go, you have to pound the pavement, you have to walk in, you have to be rejected, you have to audition, and you have to work around the culture of a new country. And that was so hard. I had to swallow the humility pill, and I was willing to do that hard work. And then, 10 years later, I finally got my leading role in a movie. Focus on the light, little sliver of light that you might see, a little bit of inspiration that you might see. And that's the hardest thing to do because you're bogged down by baggage. You're bogged down by shackles of people holding you down. So you have to really push forward. And that's just individual. Do you have that inside of you to fight that fight for yourself? Or are you going to wait for somebody else to do it? That's an individual choice. My dad was extremely sensitive, but he was also like my biggest champion. The one thing that I learned from him was the hustle. He always taught me that don't be afraid of the failure. What you do next after failure is what will define you. But it's at that time when you are at the bottom, when you are alone, isolated, and you're kicking. Can you find your value at that time? Even when you're down in the bottom, you have to pick yourself up. You have to, even if it hurts, stand up because God has given us this amazing thing called life. And it is not to be wasted. It is not to be taken for granted. And it is not to live in sorrow and, wallow in self-pity. Yeah. So what's the next step in your big dream? So if you want to buy a car, say for example, you have to figure out how much it's for. So अगर 100 रुपए की कोई चीज़ खरीदनी है आपको, तो वो 100 रुपए आपको बनाने पड़ेंगे. So you have to work backwards from your goal. So if my goal is one thing, I'll work backwards. And what is the first step in that goal? I'll take that. Then the next step in that goal, and slowly you'll buy your car. But if you have unachievable dreams, something that seems too out of the ordinary, then you're waiting for a miracle. And miracles don't happen very often. You have to create it for yourself. That day I realized that there's something about knowledge. There's something about if you learn, even if you don't know something, if you have an ambition to be somewhere, if you prepare yourself, you have the ability to be better than everyone else.